Artificial intelligence, AI, as individuals, we're exposed to it every hour of every day. Some of us it excites, some of us it scares, more than likely through a lack of awareness. What does it mean for businesses and for organizations? Well, to demystify this, I'm pleased to welcome well-known CEO, CTO, entrepreneur, and indeed techpreneur, Krish Gopi.
Great to be here, Matt.
Thank you for coming. Lots to talk about today, but before we get moving into things, let's work out the basics. Talk to us about AI in basic terms. What is it?
AI basically is about teaching machines how to think, learn, and make decisions, like humans, but on a larger and grander and faster scale. Let's imagine if you want to teach your child to identify animals, right? You would probably be showing them lots of animals, elephants, giraffes, and lions, and cats and dogs. And with enough training, the child will start understanding the difference between a cat and a lion and a dog. AI is exactly like that. But instead of teaching a child, you're training a algorithm, a model with thousands, if not millions of data until it starts recognizing the pattern and starts identifying the right answer for it. That's machine learning in simple terms. Machine learning is simply asking the machines to learn from the data without explicitly programming it.
Okay.
Right? And you go one level deeper, that's deep learning. Now, imagine deep learning, is loosely similar to how the brain works. It's based on neural network. I would assume that as a multi-layered decision-making algorithm. Now, why do I say that? The first layer reads the data, understands it, and kind of solidifies its understanding. The next layer builds on top of the previous layer's understanding, and then it again, enhances that understanding more, and it keeps going down and down until the perfect answer or the perfect solution is arrived. So the best example of a deep learning is self-driving cars. You know that there are hundreds of millions of data points that come every millisecond. It's the data from the sensors, the cameras, and the GPS signals and the images that it processes. Now, all of them are being put into the deep learning algorithms. And, one deep learning algorithm, one layer looks at the edges, the next one shapes, and the other one color, and the other one identifying whether it is a cat or a human or a incoming traffic or a stop sign. Now, all of that has to happen in milliseconds. And, then machines has to take a decision on whether to, act on it and go and things like that. And that's the power of deep learning, I would say. Now, in the midst of all this is algorithms. That's the real heart of how AI works. Algorithms are certain rules that machines have in terms of how to learn and how to make decisions. Depending on the problems that you are solving, you're using different algorithms. Now, you use classification algorithms if you want a yes or no question. Is it a spam or not? Is it on or off? So, that kind of things, you use classification algorithms. You use regression algorithms if you are predicting something. What's the income going to be or revenue going to be in the next quarter, or what's going to be the price of gold tomorrow. Those kind of predictions, then you use regression algorithms. And you use clustering for grouping certain data, unstructured data, and making patterns out of it. Now, for an example, how do you identify a specific user's buying pattern over time? Then you use clustering algorithms and things like that. So that's the basics of AI, I would say.
And it works so quickly. Such a lot happening.
Absolutely.
And it works so quickly. It's nothing short of a miracle, really.
Now,
the way it works.
Trivia, the best known LLM that is available as of now, GPT-4 plus, is trained on trillion plus parameters, and it makes billions of transactions, algorithm changes, to answer a simple question, and all has to be done in milliseconds, yeah.
Just to bring it to life in terms of businesses, obviously huge benefits to adopting AI and driving an AI strategy. But talk to us about, first-hand experience of the positive impacts that can be seen relatively quickly by businesses who embrace and adopt AI as part of their norm.
Beautiful question, Matt. Industry, let's say, industry revolution happened exactly 100 years to bring meaningful changes into the industries that we know it. And AI did this in 3 years, just 3 years, right? That is 30 times more powerful transformation than what we have seen before. And AI is in everything, everywhere, and all at once. Now, our personal lives are surrounded by AI, right? The self-driving cars to Google Maps to Siri and Alexa and the Netflix recommendations that, you get to ChatGPT. We are surrounded by AI every single minute. Now, when it comes to industries are getting transformed every day through AI, from predicting the stock market trends to detecting frauds in financial transactions. AI is transforming finance by discovering drugs within weeks, what used to be taking years, to detecting heart diseases by just doing retinal scans. AI is transforming medicine by identifying hyper-personalized product recommendations to real-time enhancing the supply chain mechanics. AI is transforming retail by detecting who would drop out of schools before the students even drop out, by tailoring the content for every single learner according to their learner type. AI is transforming education by predicting machine failures before they happen. That would cost us millions of dollars. By detecting factory line mistakes by computer vision. AI is transforming manufacturing by enhancing social welfare schemes as to right people get the right benefits, or by enhancing sustainable smart cities. AI is replacing the public sector industries as well. So I would say it's not adopting AI anymore. It's working around and aligning your operating model to AI. That's where real transformations happen.
Exactly. In the region, Middle East as a whole, where would you say that we are? I know it's a generalization, but just, where would we be sitting? Are we ahead of the curve with this? Are we behind, or somewhere in between?
We are in a strange spot when it comes to AI adoption, Matt, right? There is great vision and very high ambition. When it comes to the adoption, I wouldn't say we are in a good place. Let me explain.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you just look at the government level commitments at the top, the region is, punching way ahead of or above its weight. Now, UAE is the first country that actually had a AI minister way back in 2017. And if you look at the top leadership, they keep reaffirming, the AI's, ability for, building the nation, or, putting that into the national agenda. And we are investing billions. For an example, if you take Saudi Arabia has this data and AI policy. They want to compete with the UAE and US and others, and they want to be leaders in AI by 2030. And if you look at other countries like Qatar or Egypt or Bahrain, they all have their own AI roadmap. So that's a good news, right? We should be very, very happy with this. But then when you go closer to the adoption levels, that's where you start seeing cracks. Now, the recent IDC study puts us a very, very interesting statistics. Only 15 to 18% of Middle East companies have moved from pilot phase to using AI in production. Just 15 to 18%. That's a huge gap between the ambition and the implementation or execution. Now, I would attribute this to three things, Matt. The first one is data issue. The enterprises, the organization in Middle East is struggling what I call as data paralysis. The data is fragmented, it's siloed, it's non-contextual, and that's slowing things down. And there isn't a real collaboration between industries or even within industries in terms of sharing best practices or sharing data, normalized data, or let's say lessons learned between them that could improve the overall data quality issue in the region. The second issue I would attribute to is the talent, not having enough talent. When I mean not having enough talent, I don't mean in general. We do have good talent in the region. We have some fantastic universities that are producing good, fresh talent every year. But when it comes to AI transformative leadership, when it comes to great AI entrepreneurs or data scientists, the demand is, way ahead of its supply. So, that's something that we need to be taking care of. And the third important factor is we seem to have this culture of why don't we wait and watch, rather than let's go test and learn kind of a thing. Let's see what others do and then we'll see if we can follow it, the best practice. I think that's a dangerous trend because just in the last 12 months, we've seen 50,000 AI patents being filed in US and China put together. And we are way, let's say in childhood stage when compared to them. So that situation has to change. So in short, there is a great vision. There are, very, very good sponsorship from top leadership, but we have a long way to go when it comes to the enterprise adoption.
And just for clarity there, so we've got from a government level, because we're seeing it already,
Yes.
with Dubai's flying taxis and,
Yes.
Everything that is happening, even from a government services standpoint, government is doing it and driving the AI agenda. But we've got a dichotomy where it's happening there, but within the private sector, it's the private sector that are nervous about it, potentially, I don't know, or are not moving as quickly
Absolutely.
as the rest of the infrastructure.
Absolutely, yes.
Is that because of cost, do you feel, or is that what they're worrying about? What are the issues if they're not as aware as they potentially should be about the benefits that's holding them back? What would it be?
Well, I hear this a lot, right? People say, "Oh, AI is all that fancy things, but it's costing a lot." I would say, AI transformation doesn't cost a lot. Bad AI transformation costs a lot. If you had all the fancy tools, the gimmicky ones, and you didn't have the right strategy, or if you had very bad data and if you didn't have the right leadership and you didn't do enough change management to carry all your stuff through, you are absolutely going to waste millions and you're not going to be getting the right ROI at all. But if you do it right, AI is a great efficiency builder. AI is a great, revenue generator in that sense. Now, a beautiful statistics McKinsey put out, a couple of weeks ago, is that if you implement AI at scale, you would get an average of 20% of cost efficiencies in organizations.
How quickly would that
within 2 to 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
And you would also be getting a revenue upliftment of 10 to 15% if you carefully go at it. Now, that's a great statistics to have. Having a 20% of cost reduction or on efficiencies is absolutely a greater thing to do. Now, people are talking about CapEx. Let me tell you, all those great cloud platforms like AWS or Azure or Google or Oracle Cloud, they all have pay-as-you-go model. So you don't have to rent out the entire factory. You just have to have the right GPUs, the right infrastructure, and you test your model, see it works, and then if it works, then you can scale it, right? And you have this great AI open source libraries like PyTorch and TensorFlow and Hugging Face and Longchain and all those things. They have democratized AI, and you can actually build great production-ready AI platforms with very, very little investment.
Is there a roadmap that, from a basic level? So we've got somebody listening right now that's thinking, I've been thinking about this, but I don't know where to start with my AI strategy. Is there a particular roadmap that you will recommend that they start to follow?
Matt, having done this multiple times across industries, I always put this as a 10-step playbook. I call it as 10x AI strategy because if you do this right, it's just not going to improve it. It's going to exponentially transform your organization. I would say the first one is starting with the purpose. You absolutely need to know, why are you doing this? Are you doing this for cost, efficiency, customer service, or accuracy, or speed? So when the purpose is there, everything falls, right in place. The second one is you need to know what to expect. You need to have clear objectives. This is the resource I'm going to be putting at it, and this is going to be the ROI, both from a qualitative standpoint and quantitative standpoint. That needs to be clear. You can't run flashy AI projects without any understanding of what's the outcome going to be. The third important thing is to get the buy-in, top to bottom. A good AI transformation has to be sponsored by board and adopted at the grassroots level. So everybody from your board member to the junior most colleague that you have, everybody has to be rallying around. So that's the important thing. Now, getting your data in order. Data is fundamental to your AI journey. And, if you don't have the right data, if your data is not AI ready, you can forget about AI at all. And, you need to start something small. You cannot be boiling the ocean there. You need to start small, fail faster, fail safe, see what works, learn from it, and then, scale that up. And another important thing is about hiring AI talent. It is very important to have the right talent with you, and even more important, to train the entire workforce around it. And very, very important next step is about change management. Change management is key because people don't accept certain things if they are confused about it, if they're not clear about it. A good change management is about answering logical and emotional aspects of that particular change as well. And, another important thing is to not reinvent the wheel. If there are external expertise, use it, whether it is, individuals who are SMEs or companies or startups or any other collaboration that you can make. So you don't have to do all of it on your own. And then an important thing is doing ethical AI. AI ethics, safety, explainability has to be fundamental to everything you do. It cannot be an aftermath. Let's finish all our AI journey and then we'll put something around a wrapper on AI safety. That's not going to work. But last point, very, very important, is this is not fire and forget. This is not a project. This is a journey. And you continuously need to evaluate your AI efficiency, the model's performance, whether it is having hallucinations or not. You need to keep training it, and you need to continuously do the change management, etc. That's, for me, the AI 10x strategy. Now, I have a question for you, Matt. people are the biggest assets in this organization. As a people leader, HR transformation leader, what would you say to the industry on how to prepare people for this AI transformation?
I think just to go back to one of the points that you made, I think it's about education in the main as the first step. When we talk about the board adopting a commitment to change and to drive the strategy right the way down to the junior people, there's a common misperception actually from people lower down the scale in the organization that AI is going to mean that they're going to lose their jobs.
Yes.
Which of course is not the case. We've seen this in various different projects where actually the adoption of an AI transformation strategy creates opportunities for people within the organization to upskill and for their jobs to evolve. Now, if an organization is going to move towards a digital transformation strategy and get it right from the top down, we have to look at the organizational structure. We have to look at the job designs, and to drive that as part of a cultural change where you're creating teams and an organization overall where it's okay to experiment, it's okay to make mistakes, to learn from those mistakes, and to innovate and be creative as part of the culture. That will drive buy-in to the overall strategy. Clear communication, another key requisite of anything successful is in communication, which falls into the change management and the change leadership piece. People have to feel that they can communicate with their peers, bring challenges to their superiors, with hopefully solutions, but that they will be sort of listened to within the organization. I'm probably painting a utopian world here, and to a certain extent, yes, these things take time. So it's to allow yourself as a company to take the time to change your culture. But again, as within the digital roadmap, you need to have a people roadmap, and you need to have measurable, probably more qualitative outcomes to measure your success against.
Absolutely.
You've built a super app with a powerful neural AI engine that is US patent pending, and from what we've heard is worth hundreds of millions of dollars already. Tell us more about that.
Thank you, Matt. As you know, we built this super app, an all-in-one integrated system that captures each and every need of the entire education ecosystem and the stakeholders. Now, this is from inquiries, enrollments, academics, student management, learning management, ERP, back office, child safeguarding, all the way up to alumni. We wanted the core engine of the tech IP that we built powered by AI. And that's where Anet came in. Anet is an adaptive neural engine, for the transformation that is powered by 15 billion neural network parameters with 100 years of input data and with 10 TB of academic data and with 450 GPU days of training and fine-tunings. In fact, interesting fact is the journey started much before even ChatGPT was born. We started this journey in 2011. Anet is built on open source AI algorithms. We used T5 from Google. We use BERT. And, we use XGBoost for predictive analytics and things like that. It does some fantastic things. I'll give you some examples of the use cases. We've created, using Anet, one of the most complicated neural, NLP, natural language processing unit that you can chat. Any customer can chat and ask questions like, what's the attendance, like, or, academic information and things like that. We've connected to Alexa. So you could actually, every single parent could call Alexa and ask, hey, where is my kid right now? Is he coming in bus? What time does she or he reach? Or what's the, homework for today? And, what do we expect? What are the classes for tomorrow? And things like that. We built, AI-based attendance system that could save 7,800 man hours every single day. We've created adaptive assessments called Cleverest, where it actually feeds the questions, understands where you stand, and accordingly changes the assessment and feeds you with the right material for you to, get back into the level that you need to be there. We've created predictive analytics that can predict your marks in term one. It can predict the year-end results on exactly where you need to be working your concentration on. We have done demand prediction, exactly how many classes needs to be built at what curriculum, etc., is accurately predicted as well. And churn prediction, we actually take subset of parents who are likely to churn and are unhappy, and we work on them, we do it. And we've done corporate GPT, which is a chat GPT equivalent of your corporate data. We've created Gemma, which is a AI avatar that is 24/7. It teaches you concepts, and it also gives you emotional support and things like that. And of course, and it was connected with open source LLMs to provide you with Gen AI use cases, creation of content and lesson planning and things like that. And I'm very proud of what Annette has done so far. The beauty of it is the platform has been built. The technology is agnostic to the industries. So what I mean is, you could take Annette and you could actually train it for any other industry, and we can start using it. And that's the power of AI. So yes, that's Annette.
Wow, what an incredible achievement, and definitely more than a proven track record of being able to sort of start something before it was even big, really, and then create something so special. Congratulations on that.
You.
Look, what's your message for CEOs that are thinking about digital transformation, in particularly AI?
If you are a CEO, you don't need to understand how neural network works, but you absolutely need to understand what AI can do to your revenue model, your operating model, your business model, your staff, and your customers, etc. So that's a given. I would say stop considering AI as your CIO or CTO's KPI. It is a strategic weapon, and it's a board agenda. And I would humbly request the CEOs to start thinking about what's the biggest problem that I can solve through AI. And I would request you to get the data in order. Without data, there is no AI. And change management is key. Your entire organization needs to be trained. They need to be reassured, and they need to have a new mindset. So, taking people along this journey is absolutely critical. And my final request is, do it now. Because if you're waiting for a perfect strategy, you are going to be disrupted by people who already have started experimenting, learning, iterating, and doing things right now. So yeah, do it now, or be at the risk of it doing it to you. So that's my message.
It's interesting that you say, and I agree wholeheartedly, about don't just put it as one of your CTO's KPIs. Let me throw this question out there to you. Should every organization think about having a chief AI officer?
Chief AI officer. Matt, I love this question because it also brings another important topic, and that is, who's truly responsible for AI in your organization? If you are serious about your AI transformation, you absolutely need to do three things. One, you need the AI to be owned by a CXO, not just the tech, but the outcomes as well. And you need to be able to bring a cross-functional leadership and alignment. AI is just not tech. It cuts across from front to middle to back. So whether it is your front line, whether it is your product line, service lines, your back office, your HR or audit and risk, everybody has to be aligned towards this. And you need to have a proper governance model. You need to start thinking about governance, risk control on AI safety and ethics and things like that. Do you need a full-time chief AI officer? Yes, if you think AI is a strategic driver for your organization. If you think AI is going to be core to your products and services, if you are going to implement AI at a scale within your organization across divisions, across countries, if you are going to build a intellectual property using AI, and if you want the change management leadership aspects of this AI transformation to be taken care. Now, if you are taking baby steps now and you're just very early in the stage, it could definitely sit within the role of chief technology officer, chief digital officer, only and only if that person is truly capable of leading that AI transformation where it gets matured, and then you have somebody at the CXO table to manage it fully themselves.
I think I agree. I think it's around having that specialist, dedicated focus skill set and change leadership within the C-suite that actually is responsible for the outcomes within that area.
Yes.
As we know, with the fast pace of technology, whether it's infrastructure or whether it's application development, the way that that's moving, the CTO has got enough on the plate, basically, or the chief digital officer is now becoming more prevalent. We see the chief AI officer role again within government, but we don't see it within the private sector. And I think that or as much within the private sector, I think it's something, that should be considered and seen as an investment overall, again, rather than a cost. You mentioned governance, okay, really, really important part of this discussion. What should boards be thinking about in terms of the governance situation with AI as it grows throughout a business?
Very, very critical question and timely one, Matt. I believe boards are still thinking AI as just a technology tool. And, AI updates are buried under hundreds of technology reports and things like that so far. So I strongly believe AI has come into the boardroom, but hasn't earned the rightful seat in the board. I'll explain to you. World Economic Forum says only 35% of board members agree that they understand AI to govern it. That's a very, very important statistics to understand. So let me give you two lenses in which I see AI's role in corporate governance. One is strategic oversight. AI is an important strategic weapon that exists for most of the organizations. And boards need to look at strategic oversight. So boards needs to start questioning the executives as to, are we using AI as a strategic lever? Are we unearthing new revenue models? Are we using AI to bring in efficiency gains? Are we thinking about our staff in this AI era? So these are all the questions that boards have to start asking, and it has to be a permanent agenda in all the board meetings. The second lens is the regulatory and accountability stand. AI produces huge enterprise risks when it comes to systemic bias in algorithms in data, and when it comes to data privacy. If your bank has rejected a loan because of bias, or if your AI, retail AI, has exposed personally identifiable data, they're not tech failures, they are governance, risk, and control failures. So I believe AI absolutely has to be a important agenda for boards, and it's not a tech tool. Today, AI shapes the pricing, the way we predict, the way we sell, the way we serve, the way we say yes, the way we say no, the way we hire, the way we fire, and everything in between. So boards have to start taking seriously, or they will be questioned later on why they haven't looked at it earlier.
Yeah, exactly. You've developed something called IMA. Okay, tell us more about it and why are you giving it away for free?
Matt, IMA is very close to my heart, and you would agree with me that a lot of companies want to do AI, but very few people know exactly where they are in that journey. Now, there are companies which has really great tools, but absolutely zero data quality or data foundation. And there are companies that has so many AI pilots with no cohesive intelligent strategy. Or they have huge budgets for AI, but zero change management or people adoption. When I see it happening across industries, across startups, and even across public sector, I really feel bad about it. And IMA is my way of demystifying it. IMA simply is a AI maturity assessment and alignment tool, which is research backed. It is AI powered. It kind of assesses and amplifies, accelerates your AI readiness journey. Now, unlike other methodologies that exist today, it's not static. It's connected to open source LLMs, so it's real time. It kind of evolves with the AI trends that are happening every day in the world. And it's also not generic. Now, whether it is banking or healthcare or manufacturing or education, you would get insights totally context sensitive for your industry, for your revenue buckets, for what you really can, kind of compare with your peers of the same, industry, etc. So it is not generic, and it's just not a metric. You don't get a score. You also have actionable insights. You also get strategies for your industry on what you need to do given where you stand for the next 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 9 to 12 months, and things like that. So I felt, you asked me the question of why is it free? I felt knowing where you stand or understanding your AI maturity is not a privilege. It is your right. Because all costly consultants charge hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this exercise for 4 to 6 weeks exercise. But what will the medium-sized enterprises do? Where will they go? And what will the public sector companies or organizations in the emerging countries do? So I thought this is my way of giving back to the community, and it has to be always free.
No, that's really admirable and commendable that you've done that. And I know that already you've got many different companies that have seen the benefit from it. So
the greatest news, Matt, is as of this morning, I've seen 150 plus unique assessments from around 11 countries in the region has done the assessment. And that's probably the best start I could have asked for in this open movement that I have created. And good times to come, Matt.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Krish. What an insightful discussion. And I'm sure we'll have more to talk about over the coming weeks and months, indeed.
Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Pleasure to have you here. So my question for you is, are you ready? Where are you at in your thinking with your AI or your digital transformation strategy, or both, in fact? If you want to have a copy of the IMA tool that Krish has developed, then please contact us. And we look forward to bringing you more insightful information alongside Krish on this topic. Thank you. Goodbye.